Cowherd, live from the Moores Cancer Center in La Jolla, California for ESPY Day on ESPN Radio.
And ESPNRadio.com.
Hi, it's The Herd on ESPN Radio, wherever you may be and however you may be listening. Thanks for making us part of your day, presented by Progressive Insurance. All of our guests via the Subway Fresh Take Hotline, simulcast on ESPN News. Today, we are indeed live from the campus of UC San Diego, Moores Cancer Center. I want to introduce you to a young man, Clay Treska, who I just met this morning. And he's from Cleveland. He's from a tough part of Cleveland. Cleveland creates tough people in Pittsburgh and a steelworker family.
That's right.
And, you know, you look at him and you're like, this is a good-looking guy. This is a California surf guy, right? Like, all the women are like, well, Clay's cute. But you're a Cleveland kid, and then you got into the Marines. And there's a base here, Camp Pendleton.
Yes.
So you come out here as a strapping kid from Cleveland, a worker. And you come out and you're in the Marines, and you're living the life. And you find out that you start feeling sick. What was happening?
Well, I was having pains in my lower back, and I went to the physicians and doctors to find out what could be wrong.
Sure.
And, they figured it was overtraining or over-exercising, but little did we know at the time that it was actually cancer was spreading through my body, up my spine, into my chest. And
Quickly.
Very quickly. It's a very aggressive form of cancer that I was diagnosed with.
You were told how long after that it was terminal?
Shortly after I went to the ER, and I had a lymph node on my clavicle that actually swelled to the size of a baseball. And shortly thereafter, I was diagnosed terminal, told there was nothing left that could be done to save my life.
How awful was that day for you?
You know, because I was in the Marines, the idea of going into harm's way or that life is short, it wasn't foreign to me. But the idea of having to explain that to my family, tell my father that especially, that was gut-wrenching.
Your father actually helped save your life, though.
Yes, he did. So, as fate would have it, his secretary's father was an oncologist that worked with Lance Armstrong's oncologist.
Small world.
It really is. And so he asked Lance Armstrong's oncologist if he could look at my biopsy and pathology report. And it was at that point in time that we determined that there was a treatment that could potentially save my life that's done in only a handful of places in the world. And one of them is here at UCSD Moores Cancer Center.
So you spent several months here.
Several months here at the Cancer Center, but in the entirety, 13 months hospitalized between UCSD and the Navy Hospital.
As a Marine, as a great Marine, and they serve our country, there's bases all over Camp Pendleton here. You said the day you were told it was terminal was different than the day you were then told here that you're going to live.
Absolutely. Well, when I was diagnosed terminal, I always understood and accepted the fact that I was going to go, but if I was going to go, it was going to be on my terms. And so when you're diagnosed with terminal cancer or you're put in a situation like that, you really start evaluating what you have and the things that you have left. Family, friends, your drive, your goals, your aspirations in life. And one of my goals and aspirations in life, which were two of them really, one of them was to get a college education, and the other one was to become an Ironman triathlete. And so when I was diagnosed terminal, I decided to pursue the Ironman triathlon.
Despite all the pain?
Despite it, because...
And you were 220 pounds strapping. You lost... How much weight did you lose?
Well, at that time, I was about 250 because I was really into weightlifting. I was a pretty big boy.
Hey, aren't we all? What'd you get down to?
I got down to about 140 pounds.
Wow.
in the height of my treatment. And so
you go through this triathlon, and I know friends who do this.
Yes.
So your feeling is, listen, if I'm going, I'm fighting this thing.
That's correct.
My terms.
That's correct.
Then you get the news here, you're going to make it.
Right.
Do you remember that moment?
Well, I actually started pursuing the triathlon after I was diagnosed, and before and after I found out that I was going to make it. So it actually turned into a motivation for me to focus on while I was going through this whole process. And the idea of it being that it was doing something positive, and it was doing something other than succumbing to the disease.
Owning your space.
Exactly. And I think that's important for all cancer patients or anybody that's going through any kind of trials and tribulations, is to look at it as an opportunity. Look at it as an opportunity to do something unique, do something benevolent and positive.
Share advocacy.
Exactly.
Now, this facility cancer is frightening. You're a big, strapping guy. And the saddest part of this story, because you're here, and I just found this out this morning, the irony is your father recently passed from cancer.
3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago. And that is ironic.
So he saved your life.
He did. That's the thing about cancer is that it doesn't have morality. It doesn't know right or wrong, good or bad. And it certainly doesn't discriminate. And so although my father was responsible for initiating the process of saving my life, and I give him full credit for it, and several years later, the same disease took him. And it's been a journey, to say the least. But I have confidence and faith that he's looking down on me, and he's very proud of what I'm trying to do and trying to accomplish and what we're doing here at the Cancer Center.
Clay Treska joining us. Of course he is. You're just a remarkable young man, and you can hear it in my voice too. It's very emotional. This center, it's like a compassion center.
It is.
I mean, if you really think about it, it's a compassion center. When you came here, we're very short on time, but when you came here, the feeling, how did they make you feel?
When I walked into this place, the first thing I felt was confidence. Confidence that I'm getting the kind of treatment from the best people in the world. And then empathy. I mean, it's flooding with empathy. Everybody here, it takes a special individual to want to work with cancer patients. And everybody here loves what they do, and they love being there for cancer patients. And so, I mean, I owe them all the credit in the world for keeping me motivated to pursue the endeavors that I have.
A Marine, a great friend, a survivor, and now you are a college student at San Diego State.
Yes, sir.
You're working full-time.
Yes.
You're an advocate.
Yes.
To fight cancer.
Right.
Clay Treska, absolute pleasure. Honor to have you.
Honor, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.